At this time, I'll provide a short briefing that will include only factual information gathered thus far on our on-scene investigation. At the end of this briefing, I'll take a couple questions. As a few ground rules, my primary job is to gather factual information. So during this interview and the Q&A, I will not be providing analysis or speculating as to the cause of the accident. Today, we're here to investigate a mid-air accident that occurred yesterday, about 18:55 local, involving a Bell 407, November 555, Alpha Sierra, and a Sikorsky S-64, November 4037, Sierra. The three individuals of the Bell 407 perished in the crash. The pilots of the Sikorsky helicopter made a safe emergency landing. First, on behalf of the National Transportation Safety Board, I would like to extend our deepest condolences to the families and friends affected by this tragedy. Our team arrived late this morning to begin assessing the on-scene investigation. The team consists of 2 NTSB personnel, 1 FAA personnel, and representatives from the manufacturer and operators. Our purpose during the on-scene investigation is to gather perishable information. Information that will not exist once the wreckage has been disturbed. Our plan is to document the wreckage before relocating to a secure facility in Arizona. Perishable information includes witness statements, and with the assistance of the Riverside County Sheriff's Department and CAL FIRE, we've started to compile that. I would encourage any witness that has information, any information that might help with this investigation, to email that to witness@ntsb.gov. Again, that's witness@ntsb.gov. Once the wreckage has been recovered, our team will gather archived information, which will include the pilot, the machine, and the environment. We will look at the pilots, their certificates and ratings held, their recency, and any flight training history. We'll examine the airframe, the engine, and other components as necessary, which may include a follow-up examination at a later date, which will also include a review of the maintenance history. Finally, we will examine all the environmental factors to include the weather and lighting conditions, as well as any records of voice transmissions. Upon returning to my office, I'll prepare a preliminary report that will briefly describe the circumstances surrounding the accident. The report will be available about 15 business days after I return to the office. Once the fact-gathering process phase of the investigation has been completed, a process which typically takes about 18 to 24 months, a factual report will be published and released on the NTSB website. Accompanying that will be a public docket that will have all the supporting information gathered throughout the investigation. About 30 days following the publication of that factual report, the board will release an analytical executive summary of the case called a brief report and the probable cause of the accident. By mandate, the NTSB is required to investigate every accident for the purpose of aviation safety, and specifically for preventing tragedies like this from happening again. So most importantly, if during the course of our investigation we discover any systematic deficiencies, we may issue safety recommendations designed to prevent similar future accidents. In addition to explaining the facts, the conditions, and the circumstances around the accident, the Safety Board's primary mission is to develop these safety recommendations. In closing, I would like to thank the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, as well as CAL FIRE Riverside Unit, for their outstanding support and assistance during this time on scene. At this time, I'll take a few questions.
Is there any indication as to whether this was a vertical collision or horizontal collision?
So we're gathering that information right now, and so we're still waiting to analyze that at a later time.
Initially, what can you tell us? I mean, we know 2 helicopters ended up crashing, but what can you?
So at this point, I can tell that they were on a convergence flight and that they did impact one another. In a convergence flight, yes.
Now, normally, don't they fly at different altitudes?
Let me just grab another question. Any question over here? Preliminary wise, we have not had any recordings provided to us.
What kind of surveillance have you done over at the scene of the wreckage, and what are your initial observations there?
So we're getting a drone team coming up later tonight, and we'll be working the scene tomorrow with a drone team. So at this point, not much. Thank you for your time here. We have to get back onto the accident.
Sikorsky, what kind of damage did it sustain?
Minor damage at this point. Thank you very much.
Can you discuss how many people were in the large helicopter?
Still a lot of questions to be asked regarding this deadly helicopter plane crash. That was the latest update there from NTSB officials, who say they're still working to gather more information. You can see there on the right side of your screen, we did have some footage from the wreckage that happened Sunday. This is 2 firefighting helicopters that collided while responding to a blaze in Southern California, about 2 miles east of Los Angeles. That one of those helicopters was just sent to the ground in a crash that killed all 3 people who were on board. The accident happening late Sunday afternoon in the desert. And the other helicopter, which is the one that collided with the first that went crashing down, that one was able to make a safe landing remarkably. But again, STSB officials still conducting that investigation. It did happen last night in Southern California, so we still have a ways to go before we get more information.